The black female voter is the most loyal voter in the Democrat Party, and it's not even close. But we're seeing a sign now that this could be changing, albeit slowly, but just enough to move the needle to have Democrats in abject, sheer panic. We're going to talk about that right now. Hello, my name is Kyle and welcome to this channel. And in this video, I'm going to talk to you about the black female voter and the Democrat Party and why this core, very important demographic for the Democrats could be slipping through their fingers. Now, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We are talking about a group that traditionally votes upwards of 95, 96% for Democrats, regardless of what's going on in the world. However, what's going on now, the fact that Biden is so undesirable, the fact that we're seeing the country go down so quickly from where it was 3 years ago, gas prices and everything else, we're seeing a lot of people being very discouraged with what they're not projecting as being a better lifestyle of what they were promised by the Democrats 2 years ago. So we're going to look at this article right here. This is from Wilbon and Williams, and these are two females. I looked them up. The names are Dee Bass Wilbon and Deanna Bass Williams. They are conservatives. However, they are black, and they have a perspective that I don't have. And I think this is a particular demographic that's really important for us to reach out to and figure out why are they voting this way consistently, despite what's going on. It says here in 2020, Joe Biden's presidential bid was resurrected from life support by black women in South Carolina. The numbers bear us out. If the next Republican presidential candidate could garner 15% of the black female vote, it's game over for the Democrats. That's, of course, barring any other shenanigans that could happen. You know about that. Check us out on Locals, where we have our new account there. You can join there. We have videos there where we can talk about whatever you want to talk about and not here on YouTube. But you know what I'm talking about on that. Black Women's Roundtable, Essence Magazine, put together a poll to gauge the pulse of black women in America. And I was looking for various numbers on this. I couldn't find anything recent. This came out it was polled in January, February, and ended up finalizing in early March. So it's about 3 months old in terms of the data, but that's about as good as you're going to get targeted to just black females. It says here that, however, even though the poll was commissioned and conducted by the left, could not hide the great displeasure that black women have with the Democrat Party. Let's take a look at this here. It says here that only 9% of black women believe they're getting ahead. Okay, well, I could have told you that. Why are you voting for Democrats? And 68% of silent generation women are saying the economy is getting worse. And the silent generation goes back before the baby boomers. And this statistic right here is pretty telling. Only 65% of black women for the Democrats in the midterms. At least 92% of black women voted for in the midterm of 2018. Close to a 30-point drop there in only 4 years. Democrats know they cannot win the midterm in 2022 or the White House in 2024 with this low support from black women. So what do? What do the Democrats do? Well, they play the race card. And one thing about black women I will say is this: when it comes to them, they care deeply for their kids like any other mother would. But because of the plight of the black community, that particular stress with children is a lot stronger. And so what's end up happening is their support system, whether it be the care they receive, the education they receive, or lack thereof, or any kind of set-asides or money that they get, any kind of programs that are there to help them along the way, because unfortunately, disproportionately, just aren't doing well proportionally to other people in the country. And so that is why you see that dependency to the government, because they're not going to disrupt that for fear of losing that. And that's why I think they vote for Democrats, mainly out of dependency, which is what they're trying to do with illegal aliens, getting them in here and get them on the government teat for the rest of their lives. And that's exactly what's going on. So what do? They claim that they are racist, of course. And the Democrats executed this strategy in February when Biden and Kamala Harris went down to claim that Republicans were suppressing the vote, even though there's evidence to say the exact opposite. It's so bad that even Stacey Abrams didn't show up when it came to that. And the reality is that the voting rights laws passed in Georgia did not suppress the vote. The voting laws in Colorado, for example, where they moved the All-Star game, had more quote-unquote suppressive votes for black people there than it did Georgia. And the fact is, but they didn't care because it was Atlanta and they wanted to use that as a wedge issue to get people to go to the polls because they know people get emotional about this sort of thing. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution even said, quote, most voters reported they didn't face any obstacles at the polls, unquote. So we know that's all a misnomer. Democrats were once again turning to their playbook of the leaked Roe versus Wade deal, trying to get that up and going. But we're seeing now that women in general are souring on Democrats. I'll do a video on that later. And so what do we have? We have an incessant pandering by the Democrats for black women. They cater and they pry and they prey on the fears of kids being killed in the street by police. They do it by saying that there's a lack of health care, which there probably may be in these areas, but then they don't give them any solution where Obamacare isn't sufficient to make those needs. But then they want to blame it on Republicans, their problems. They want to make the Republicans be their boogeyman, but offer no solutions whatsoever. And it just takes time for people to say, you know what, things aren't getting better. Only 9% of black women say their lives are getting better. So you would think it would have to translate at some point. But the reason why I feel it does not is because we're dealing with several generations of people who are and have been dependent on the government. And they're fearful if they vote contrary to that, they're going to lose said funding. And then they're going to be in dire straits. And especially when it comes to their kids, it's a very passionate thing there, which is what I'm hoping that this whole Roe versus Wade thing going on and this whole parents' rights for their kids' education and school choice helps. Because the thing is, school choice is a very, very popular issue in the black community. In fact, it's very popular across the board. And so this leftist poll doesn't have any of that in it. I can actually bring up some of it right here. I'll leave a link to this poll here. You can look at it and it's very, very slanted. But if you look in the internals, you can see a lot is there that is, interesting to look at. For instance, there's one thing here I mentioned real quickly about Republicans. I may not be able to pull it up quickly, but I can just tell you basically. Yeah, here it is. So it says BLM and NAACP are broadly popular. 10% of black women are Republicans. That there's a good 26% are warm to Republicans. To me, that is a low-hanging fruit. That's a big number there. If you get these 10% to get to this 26%, that's 36%. Now you're talking about a normal electorate, okay? That would be a normal electorate, and you have a 6% that doesn't know. And so give or take in the middle there, that would be a healthy deal there. So 10%, yes, they're Republican, but there's a big middle there of people who are warming to the party. And I think this right here is the key measuring point that I would say that the Republican Party needs to go after, because to me, that clearly is a low-hanging fruit. And so when we see now with the midterms, we will see what happens with that. But again, black females are the most loyal demographic to the Democrat Party. And this is one of the most encouraging things that I've seen since actually 2020, when Trump got 8% of the black female vote, double from what he got in 2016. So that's very encouraging. So I think if in 2024, whoever the candidate is can get, let's say 12, 15, 20, maybe kick into this 26% that I saw here before, that would be really, really bad for the Democrats, that is. And if you look specifically at what's going on in the other demographics, it's even worse. I'll do a video on those, on Hispanics, on women in general, blacks in general. It's really, really bad. In fact, Biden doesn't have a single demographic, not one, where he is above water in terms of his approval numbers. The best he can do is a break even on people who were born before 46. That's all he has. And so with black females in conjunction to everything else, it should be a landslide of epic proportions in November. But of course, there's that one caveat that I can't talk here. And that being said, go check us out on Locals at theconservativetake.locals.com And there, I'll have videos up there that I can't talk about here. Similar to what we did with the gate, will be over there. It'll be behind a little paywall. It won't be much. I think it's $2 to actually contribute. But if you want to sign up for free, you can go there, use the code Brandon, and you get the first month for free, and check it out and let me know what you think. And so with that, if you like what we do in this channel, we take pop culture and politics and filter it to you in a conservative manner, then please check out some more content that we have for you right